this one was weird. First one I actually didn't actually put the effort into looking it up at, but I felt like doing just because of the situation. But yeah, many things that happened in the past couple hours. I won't go into what happened, but shit, nothing I can say. I'm just gonna let it out in this what if, which I was planning on doing for a while now, just couldn't get in the spirits and or had the time to. I was gonna do a different one today, but things don't go as planned, now do they? This is what if Deku was rain, and with this one, I'm gonna say he does have lightning too, because with rain comes storm. He didn't have anything like the wind. He just has rain, which is water, wind, and lightning, pretty much. Now, where rain start at is he is born definitely, but this isn't how I was gonna plan it. What I planned was the fact that he was born in the same world that Sub-Zero had a child and Scorpion had a child, and I think that'll be the same. However, one part will be significantly different. The caretaker Deku isn't gonna be Inko or anyone like that. It's a lowly sage or a passing by monk that's named Ohma. Now Ohma is, though he hides most things, well, he didn't around us, but he was very funny. Like, oh, he gave the room energy and everything. And as such, from a young child, Rain was training under Ohma in many things. And he learned how to control his quirk. He learned a lot of things, basically, from Ohma, such as life lessons, stories, and other things. But this is gonna be a time skip I have to do, because if I don't, I'm probably gonna end up bursting into tears while we're doing this. And as he said to me, like, it's time, like, at some point the curtain has to close. So I must say, after a couple years, because he did meet Inko because of complications with his birth, and he was alone with the sage. He bids after Ohma meets Nezu and discuss things. Ohma parts away. Ohma gives him a long-winded speech, basically telling him that the ride must come to an end eventually. He has taught him all he's could, and in this, he leaves him with the parting words, as though, like, felt like I came in like the wind. I must also leave like it, and as such, this deeply saddens Rain. Now, Rain doesn't know how to express this because it's the first time he's felt grief, anger, and it's just all around sadness. And as such, he unlocks the ability called Storm. Now, Storm, it comes from deep feelings, and I mean really deep feelings that just you can't explain. That can only be expressed through actions, pretty much. And I'm gonna say, after he leaves, I'm gonna say weeks go by, and this endless storm just continues because of all the raw emotions that Rain just doesn't know how to cope with. And as such, it doesn't stop until, you know, like, other people come by, not other people, mainly Nezu, and a few people come by and tell him that it's gonna be alright. That though he left like he came in to your life, he is still there. He's still alive, walking the earth, and though he may not say anything, he definitely will miss everything he's been through with you. It's just he knows things that he has to move on, such as he knows you have to. It was hard on him too. And Deku, like, because Rain, he was going through the stages of grief. He like he the storms kind of subsided after a while. It didn't stop at the beginning, but it subsided after a while. And in that while, he learned how to cope with many things. His anger, like any dark emotion, anger, fear, regret, he learned how to deal with it. Because even even the good comes with the bad when it comes to many things, and all good things must come to an end. That's what he realized, and as such, he learned that through them. I mean, through Ohma. And at the ripe age of 10, he is basically he now has experienced, like, it wasn't just the loss of a friend, it was the loss of pretty much a family member to him, the only one he had. And in the world where he feels alone, he's like smart. He didn't go to school, but Nessie was giving him his word that he's in UA. He doesn't need an exam or anything. The spot is reserved for him as soon as he turns 13. So in them 3 years, he doesn't wander. He just ponders about many things. But he doesn't have much time to ponder because two more figures step up, which will be Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which see the kid as very much powerful, and an in-between version of him and Sub-Zero. And as such, they decide to take care of the kid for the 3 or 4 years that he cannot fend for himself, and they teach him many more things that can't be that can be taught and have to be learned by yourself. Though he doesn't use weapons, like Sub-Zero has taught him how to manipulate the water more and turn it colder and hotter. Scorpion has taught him how to use the lightning more and channel it as to be more friendly and to be more violent. And with the wind, he taught himself that he can't bend it to its own will, but it has to flow freely. And all he has to do is just move it freely, as it comes in. Now, with that, over the 3 years, he's gotten to know 2 people, he's got to know 4 people actually. Frost, yes, I changed her around the story. Is the daughter of Sub-Zero, and damn, I can't remember the girl name. You know what? Fuck it. For the girl, I'm gonna call her Hella. For short for the freaking from Thor Ragnarok, Thor's sister Hella. Now, Frost has the same ice ability as Sub-Zero. Even though hers is like a little bit colder, because as time goes, power grows. And Hella's fire isn't orange like Scorpion's. Hers is green. And people thought these are basically their quirks as they call an Earth realm, or the realm they're in currently. And with these quirks, they basically became friends, and these 3 trained together for many, many years. With Rain even though their father are both Sub-Zero and Scorpion, helped them in training, because you need not more than one brain to be better. You need 2, maybe 3. And upon that, they've grown together for the past 3 and 4 years of learn, and through them, Rain has become even more happier, because he finally, after a year, he accepted the fact that Ohma may or may not come back, And as such, he can't just sit there and just sit on it and be sad all the time, as many people would, including myself, over many circumstances. But he didn't decide that. I'm not even tired. I'm yawning too much. Alright, time to get into this, because now it's getting too slow, even for my taste. Now, over the past 3-4 years, I'm gonna say, he, like, them three, like, the other two aren't certified in the UA. They have to go there and do the test. So, like, in the 10 months before, I'm gonna say them three, I mean, Rain helps them study and gives them many mock tests. And when they asked how come Rain isn't taking the test, he said the principal there when I was a couple years back gave me the okay to be in one to be in here to be in UA due to an old sage of mine basically reaching out to him and saying the things, and he came out and watched at my ripe young age. And as such, that's how he's earned his ticket in the UA, a reserve spot actually. Damn, my eyes are dry. But anyway, I'm gonna continue. So with that being said, for the past 10 months, Rain would tutor them, would help them get ready for the test and train with them to a point where the three of them can spar against Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Takeda and, all of them, Kungjin, anyone who's either Lin Kuei or Shirai or Ryu. They could train with them and not have to worry about getting beat half to death. And as such, these three grow to be very, very close, to a point where behind the scenes, Scorpion and Sub-Zero aren't plotting, but it's more like they're making arrangements for many things, because they figured that because these three gel together, as much as they hate to say it, he's probably the best person for both of their daughters. And I know this is going fast within the first 13 minutes. But at the same time, you gotta remember, time flows differently from this plane to that plane. So, I guess in the 3-4 years, they've basically been discussing the idea of having, basically, Rain marry into both families and combining them into one, so they can avoid any further conflicts with each other. Because even since older times, these two clans have been stepping on each other's shoes. Many getting into scuffles, wars, taking lives. Scorpion's wife and kids died by the hand of Sub-Zero's younger brother, and Sub-Zero brother died in the hands of Scorpion. So either way it goes, they decide to end the bloodshed and just, what better person to do it is Rain. They feel like he's strong enough to do it and take care of both of their daughters at the same time. But this is a surprise after the hero exam, so they don't lay the plan until after, the two daughters leave to basically do the exam. And in that time, these two basically, after, because it's been 10 months, I'm going to say it, honestly, you don't need to know what they do for the past 10 months, which is obvious. They just train and do extra stuff. And while they're at the examination room, while those two are at the examination, Rain is at a temple that's plotted right in the middle of the two in a huge wind tunnel, because those two are on separate hills and he's in the middle. So all that is like a huge valley, and thus acts as a wind tunnel for him to practice his wind, which he becomes very acute at good at to the point where it feels like he can almost do the same things as Aang from the Avatar can do. And yes, he can access Storm. It's just he can if he ever does it with an anger, his lightning will become purple in nature instead of bluish white. And his clouds, instead of being like white and fluffy or gray, they'll be like just straight black. But I'm gonna continue because yeah, don't. This is the only topic I don't want to get off topic with, as I usually do. So when Rain returns and he's about to go off to practice, he gets a knock at his monastery. His monastery's door, and at the door it's Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and they come in to have a chat with him about the whole ordeal. And by hearing this, Rain is in shock basically, because he's being asked to basically end the feuds and conflicts with each other by marrying both of their daughters. And Rain is simply caught off guard by this because he didn't ever get the idea of marrying into the two families. Because Rain didn't have any dreams of his own, honestly. Like, he always wanted. That's all he lived for, was to train and help, pretty much. That's all he ever wanted to do, was to get better himself a little bit while helping others better themselves even more. So upon hearing this, he wanted to say yes, but at the same time he sat back and thought about it. Basically, he's it wasn't hard. It was anyone would have jumped at the opportunity, but Rain, as I seen, he's already thinking of he's. It's not the fact that he doesn't want to, and they see it. It's just the fact that he's thinking about it, as the future goes, because he knows that upon doing this, he's basically saying that he can take care of both families, which in turn is a hard thing to do, because you got the Lin Kuei and the Shirai Ryu, which has many feuds with each other and a deep history with each other and or their things. For him to become future head of both families is a very daunting task. And Scorpion and Sub-Zero see this, and they basically tell him that though he will become the head, it won't be for a very long time. He'll just marry into the two families and become the head eventually. Because Scorpion, is pretty much immortal, and so is Sub-Zero, because of all the combat they've been in, and many things that's happened to them. All they say is, although we, are pretty much immortal, we don't want to be the heads of our clans forever. And as such, that's why they said, we will step down after a while, for you to basically make your way as the head, and we'll announce in the clans what has happened. But to hearing this, Rain would say yes, but what about the two girls, basically, Hela and Frost? And to that, Sub-Zero and Scorpion says they're our daughters. You think we wouldn't know how they feel about you? Trust me, they want to ask you, but they don't want to, force it or push it on you because of what has happened in the past 3 years. They don't want to sully your relationship with them. And so that Rain responds with, I didn't know, actually, because there's many things I haven't experienced yet. And Scorpion says, you've experienced the worst, but you haven't experienced the best yet. And Sub-Zero also agrees with this. And this time, there's few times they sympathize with each other, but this time, they know down down to their very being that they have had their ups and downs, but they've also had their goods and bads. And as such, they basically say that they'll still ask their daughters, but at the same time, they're like 100% sure that they'll say yes. So Rain accepts this offer. And I would say before before, like, because it's not official yet, but before, the day before they are supposed to go into, no, actually the week before they go into 1A to UA, their ceremonies are supposed to happen. Which in turn, if you don't know that these two clans, like, they aren't known in Japan, but those who know in Mortal Kombat, they know of the Shiryu and the Lin Kuei. So that means enemies too. But the enemies here, they don't want to mess with them because they realize that upon messing with them, you'll bring a shitstorm with both of the clans at their doors, not just one now. So I would say after 2 weeks, they get the letters that they have been accepted into Class 1A. And Deku also gets the same letter from Nezu, basically saying, "It's been a while. Don't think I have forgotten about you," with a laughing emote. And he says, "Though, I don't want to bring up a bad memory. Your offer in 1A still stands, and you have come of age, so I would say your spot in 1A has been filled, if you so choose to come." And Deku, upon hearing that, like, the two make it in. He just, damn, I cut myself open. Fuck, I'm an idiot for scratching a mosquito bite. But upon hearing that, Deku, like, oh, like, accepts the letter and basically, sends it back through, this is old school, the way they do things. He sends the letter by pigeon or he fires an arrow. But I'm gonna say this one he sends by pigeon. But the pigeon, like, it doesn't take him a while. Like, Deku basically makes the winds easier for him to fly. Because even though he doesn't have perfect control over it, and he never will, he can control it to where he can basically calm it down and not be as violent as it would be. So the letter gets to Nezu, and it shows that Deku has accepted the offer in the 1A. Which, though it seems like it's too good to be true, in the game full of chance, they basically rolled the highest they could, and it all matched up. They all got nat 20s, and yes, it's a D&D reference. So all three of them are in the same class, and they are yet to know that Deku has been accepted yet. So I'm gonna say the week of the ceremony has now come, which is like a week after they got their letters. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna say the only reason why it took them a while to get their letters, because you do gotta remember, even though it's current Japan, you still have to find mailmen who can either fly or run up a mountain full of stairs. Because yeah, these monasteries are huge. Big as fuck. Not big as hell, but you know what I mean, high up. The only monastery that's easy to get to is Deku's, and it's because he's in the middle of both of them. So he has a cold front on one side and a regular front on the other. So on one side it's like winter, and the other side is like spring, which is weird now that I think about it, because you would think it would be winter and summer. But I remember that the Shiryu, not all of them can access fire like Scorpion can, but the Lin Kuei, I'm gonna say some of them, actually both sides have a little bit of fire to them, but I'm gonna say it's spring on one side and winter on the other. Fuck. But yeah, with that being said, here comes the week of the ceremonies, because Sub-Zero and Scorpion called it. Their daughter said yes, and as you know, many Mortal Kombat casts have came in, such as like Raiden would come by because he still watches over Earthrealm, even though he doesn't do anything. He even says that, like, although he watches over Earthrealm, he doesn't protect them against their own, like, weapons. He lets them do as they are. He's just stopping Outworld from, or, yeah, Outworld from doing as they do, when Shao Kahn was in charge. And Katana basically, like, says, like, yeah, we have no beef with Earthrealm. Why do you think there's the quirks going on now? And she's newlywed Liu Kang, so don't expect that to have a kid with Kitana and Liu Kang pop in the story, or anyone at that. Just these three. So it's like, as the week passes, you get many retired fighters, such as like Jax, Johnny Cage, Stryker, and you get like the current ones that aren't like affiliated with anything bad. So Kano's off the list. Shao Kahn is retconned to be dead. Ermac can come because he can come basically just because. The DLC characters can't come, so RoboCop and them can't because they're not canon. I'm gonna say who can from Mortal Kombat 10 to 11. Let's see. Kung Lao, Kung. These are the can come list from 10. Kung Lao, Liu Kang because shit. Melina can come because she actually calmed down and decided to humble herself. Surprisingly. Jackie Briggs, Jax, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, obviously. Takeda, Bo Raicho. Because, yes, he is canon. I'm not hearing that shit. Tanya, I don't know if Tanya isn't dead, so, yeah. Tanya comes because she was serving under fucking Melina. Baraka's still dead, so I can't really. Even then, he still wouldn't come. Devora can't come. Absolutely not. After the shit she's pulled. Johnny Cage comes. Sonya Blade comes. Like, think of any good character that was on the good side could come. Like, it's too many characters to name. And I don't know 11, so I can't really say anything about 11. But yeah, but this is a huge ceremony, so much so that Japan hears about it, and all they hear is two like feudal clans are marrying into each other, and as such, this will be a very old wedding or very old school wedding, and they are right. Like if you can picture like an old school wedding, like a very old fashioned wedding, this would be it. Like you got two head clans like merging together, and with one person who doesn't have his own clan, which is found weird because even the Yakuza and all that show up, and you can see that they find that weird because you're giving basically two of the biggest families and clans in Japan to one person without a last name, basically. Like, his name is just Reign of the Storms. And many other titles, like Reign of the, of the Rain, Reign of the Valley, Reign of the Winds, many things. But when all this subsides, there's no talking at the fact that this kid, basically hit the jackpot. And I'm gonna say because of Ohma doesn't really he has a quirk, though it's seen as very weak, and as such, he didn't want to be a hero, basically. He saw it as, heroes, aren't everything. Even me and him share that same thing, that the difference between heroes and villains is how they get shit done. Even then, some villains are fighting for the right thing, yet do it the wrong way. Such as the case with, and this is, I'm getting off topic here, Madara. His idea was good. It's just he went about it the wrong way. Trying to put the world in a huge dream state. And Obito, too. Even though he bit into the idea, that idea was like excellent. Like I couldn't argue with it. It's just they went about it the wrong way. Payne's I Payne's ideal, like his was good. It's just for the fact that he tried when he would if he would have killed and destroyed the leaf, that wouldn't have made things better. It would have made things exponentially worse because the leaf was the main thing stopping everything from basically going all to shit. Because you got to remember the leaf had the sand backing them, and if the leaf would have been destroyed, the sand would have been left to its own weapons. With the Nine Tails running about now, and as such, the Akatsuki would still be on the loose with Pain and the rest of them left, which would make the situation even harder in the future because now they got the Nine Tails, and the only person who hasn't gone yet is Killer Bee, and Sasuke will probably rule over the village in his dark state. But yeah, like I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna continue the story because like the only reason why I do it that because I found out that Ohma has stopped doing YouTube, and I found this out after like I'm not saying what I was doing because like that's TMI basically, and it's not what you're thinking. I was just like no, I already said too much, but after finding out, I talked to him for a bit, and when he said he was done, and like me and him talked for a while, like I mean, like he said his farewells basically, and I basically told him that Red Hand is more than a group of just friends and people with like low brain cells. Like it's pretty much family at this point. Even though he said his farewells, he's still kind of family to me. But yeah, I'm gonna continue because yeah. So to this, I'm gonna say almost sends a letter to because he still gets word because he basically can how do I say he's more connected to nature. Like he's not the he's not the Avatar. Don't worry about it. He's more of a druid, and no, not the high like love trees, tree hugging druid. More of a druid that is smart in his ways, like a wizard and a druid mixed together. He sends a letter basically to Deku, basically Rain, because actually yeah, I'm gonna say Deku because it's easier, congratulating him on his accomplishments, and he lets him know that though he is far, he is also pretty near, because he can get news. And as such, like Deku is happy by this news because he found out that that Mark knows that he's getting married. I said Mark, fuck. Oh well, I like Oma and Mark are the same person. Like even though I don't want to blow up his spot, but I'm not saying his whole name. I'm just saying his first name because I can't like he's not doing YouTube no more, and as much as like he can still blow me up about it, like I'll just tell like as much as I hate it, I just can't go without saying your name. And no, I'm not gay. Well, I'm not homophobic because I don't know how people will react to me with that statement. But yeah, upon hearing this, like Deku feels like he's actually ready and like he is filled with determination. I need to stop that. That's my first Undertale reference for a year. I need to do a what if with that, but that's for now. That's for later, and I need to know how to do that too. But upon hearing that news, he's basically glad and happy, and that he feels like he can take on the world right now because of that. And as such comes wedding time. Now, mind you, this is on a Friday. I mean, on a Sunday, basically, as they partied basically from Monday through Saturday. And on Saturday, it was his bachelor's night. And mind you, before you say anything, no, he didn't do anything wild. All he did was sit there and meditate. And he got a surprise visit from one person, actually two, actually, because this is actually like he's only making a cameo. He's not canon. Like, I just want to do this because Deku will enter a meditation state, which is close to the Avatar state. And upon entering, he sees two people. uh, Damn, how am I gonna say this? He meets Jiraiya. Now, mind you, before you say anything, oh, you can't include Jiraiya in this. Well, the only thing I have to say against that is it's my what if. As much as like it won't make sense, but if you think about it, he's been around sages his entire life, and Jiraiya the Toad Sage is just one of them. And upon like them meeting in this meditation state, basically Jiraiya tells stories of his Gaul. I mean, how he became the Gallant sage. And Deku, upon hearing this, sits down. And because, yes, he is 14 and you can't get drunk in this state, and they share sake. And basically, Jiraiya tells stories of his students, even though he said, like, I'm a failure for making, like, most of my students go down paths and even getting killed by my own students' hands. My student hands. And to that, Deku responds that, but what about your one student, the student named Naruto? And to that he responds, that one, however, like, he's going on to do great things. And Jiraiya says, I've been looking down on him, and I'm very happy for him. And I'm pretty sure your sage is too. And he points behind him. And to that, it shows that Mark is now spiritual. Which, yes, that means he's basically passed. When he meant that things must go on, that was his sign, basically, like, it's time for me to go. And he's been waiting there for Deku to talk to him, basically saying, like, that letter was the one he wrote and had waited for him, because he can see future visions, and upon, like, his final hour, he's seen a vision of Deku's life, and he sent him one letter, basically wishing him congratulations and not telling him future events. But he said that, like, because of that, he basically, like, he knew he didn't have long with him. It's like the stay with Minato and them. Like, they didn't have long, but they said what they needed to. And with that, he basically told Rain that he that he was more of a little brother to him, and as such, even though his time ran out, that he's very happy for him and proud of him, and he wouldn't leave that for the world. And the fact that he even said that, freaking, when I seen your future, it was very bright. It was filled with many hardships. It was also filled with many goods. I won't tell you what, but just know, like, I'm looking down on you, and I'll be here with you all the way. Don't worry, I'm a deep meditation away. And upon hearing that, like, he basically does the Oogway thing, and he basically dissipates in the leaves, or I forget what the leaf tree was, and he basically turns into that. And as much as Deku is sad by it, but it isn't the grief as he had before. It's more of like a relief, basically, that them two finally got to talk one more time. Upon hearing that, Jiraiya said, like, kind of crying too, because he was like, I can never experience the same thing with Naruto. Like, so you're lucky. He said, like, I'm just gonna be here, like, for a long time waiting for him. As, like, as I don't have any regrets, basically. Like, my book has come to a close, but his book is still going. I can see many pages being written, and he laughs at that. And he basically looks at him and says, "Your time pretty much is up here." And when Jiraiya says, "This is deep. You're in a deep meditation state, one that is reached when someone is at their peak of how they're feeling." And he said, "You can come here again, but you have to remember, it's very hard to get here. And you're at your peak of happiness, so that's why you're able to reach here. You can't reach another way." And as such, Deku snaps out of the meditation after Jiraiya says his final words, basically saying goodbye for now. And Deku basically, yeah, as I said before, wakes up from the meditation and sees that this morning. And at the monastery, he looks at the letter and he basically folds it back up and puts it on basically a dresser, and like tightens up his clothes and gets ready for the weddings. And these go smoothly, as such as they should, because I know many old customs, but I must say they will be old, as in like Hela and Frost would have to step down as what they're doing to be able to produce offspring. But but Deku and the five of them deemed that it's too early for that, and as such they decide that like they would be heroes first, and then that'll come later. So not gonna lie, I couldn't think of a mixture between the names Shirai Ryu and Lin Kuei. So, and like I don't know what they translate to, because one is like fire and one is ice. I'm gonna say when the two mix together, it makes a steam, and as such, that's what the clan is. Like it's like you still got the Lin Kuei and in the in the Shirai Ryu branch, but now in the middle of that, because they were like the three clans are still two. The two clans are still different things, but they're in the same household basically. It's like a huge tree that's been connected, and with the main branch being basically the Mist, which is Deku, Frost, and Hela. And upon hearing this, like I'm actually no, I'm not. This basically they won't enter UA yet because of the fact that I think the story should end before then, but I'm gonna just want to do their wedding. As the wedding, as like time goes on, it's like a Western wedding, but at the same time, it's not. For Deku, is sitting they're all three of them are nervous, but Deku's the main person. And he's not nervous to see Hela and Frost. He's more nervous at the fact that he realized that all this pressure is put on him, that he now has to bear the weight of taking care of those two, their kids, grandkids, and stuff, and then the weight of two clans. And he didn't think about that until now. So, upon anything, he's pretty much frozen at this point. As in, he can't move, and he's not scared. He's just very nervous about it because he realized what he's gotten himself into. And that's where he feels like two taps on his shoulders. One being Ohma, and the other one being Jiraiya, basically telling him that it's good to be nervous and or scared, but at the same time, you gotta get over it. Fear and timidness go away after a while. Some people it takes a long time. Other people it take a short amount of time. But for you, you don't have the time to worry about that. Go ahead and meet your wives. And as such, he gets the courage and musters the strength to head out to the altar and stand there, in front of hundreds of people from modern Japan and feudal who know of the two clans. And from the Mortal Kombat cast, the funny thing is, Raiden is the person, is basically the priest in this whole thing. Which is funny in a sense, but at the same time, it makes sense. And I'm gonna say for the ring bearers, it's the younger cast members that we'll be including in the future, which is basically like baby versions of everyone. Baby versions of characters mixed together, like Liu Kang and Katana's like two kids, because I say they have twins. Like they're basically flower bearers and stuff. Basically, get them used to how old-fashioned things are. And as such, there goes Hela and Frost walking down the aisle. And with this, Deku, is getting more and more nervous. And it isn't the same like it was in the room. This is it. He said, I remember the one thing from Wale in Seinfeld. He is basically like a roller coaster, and he hears the loud clickers, that loud violet sound. And basically, he's at the top right now of that roller coaster. And yes, I'm putting I forget what it's called, but in English terms, but because I can't explain it like how it is, I'm explaining it through someone else's quote. He said Deku wasn't ready for marriage, pretty much. He made plans for it after it being confirmed 2 weeks ago, but he was never really ready for it, and it was like growth. You aren't ready for it. He wasn't ready for it. It's new. It's gonna be a new life, and he knows he's gonna be a new person because of it. And upon seeing Hela and Frost with them face to face, when they say their I do's, basically that whole thing happens. And that roller coaster now is on the way down, with them screaming all together. And no, the roller coaster doesn't symbolize the bad part. It's just they were at the peak of that roller coaster went two ways. One of them could have left, and the roller coaster would have tipped back and fell, back at the beginning. Or they both accepted, which they did, and the ride continues. And as such, after that begins the story of Reign of basically the Mist. Reign of the Mist. Actually, yeah, Reign of the Mist. I like that Reign. I like that actually. And I'm gonna say, as time passes, these three are happy together, and they get many gifts. I can't, if I try to name them all, I would exhaust myself because of it, and I'd probably exhaust people's minds, because this is already a lot. I mean, this is the slowest episode I've done, because of the fact that I want to take this one slow. Because this is not gonna lie, this is an hour after I got done talking to Mark. And as much as at the beginning I was sad, but over the course of this episode I realized that he's doing, it's not selfish for him to leave. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But everyone has to leave at some point. And as such, I'm, much as it hurts me to say it, but he might not come back to Red Hand. Or he might will. He might do YouTube again. He might not. All I know is that, the only thing I hated was the fact he deleted all the damn videos. You dead. He named his channel Dead Channel. I'm gonna get you back for that at some point, you bastard. But, yeah. I'm gonna end it here, because I'm gonna give, even though it would be a day, like I'll probably end up doing the story tomorrow. Even though, tomorrow. Even though it's a day in, like, in where, in our perspective, a day in our perspective can be a couple days, a week for them. Some say, like, the day I'll take off, like, after this episode. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do, like, the official part 2 tomorrow, because as much as I want to name this part 0, it's not going to ever be part 0. If I ever do a part 0, it's basically a pilot episode to see how it is. And that's when I get, like, higher up in there. And I'm basically, like, deciding things. I'm a businessman, which I don't see myself as ever. But, yeah, I'm going to say after that wedding and after everything, I'm going to end it there. Because even though, like, they're characters in my story, they need their, like, just like Steven Universe did, they need their time to alone together. Even though it's in our minds what they do, it doesn't matter. Like, them three need a week alone, which in a week to them is a day for me. So you'll get the continuation tomorrow. So yeah, for those who are gonna watch this that are new here, and don't know what's going on, Mark was a very, very good friend of mine. And due circumstances, he decided to end his YouTube, and that's all I have to say about it. I'm not gonna stop him. I'm not gonna say that, oh, you can't do this, yada yada, or what about this, what about that. He's his own person. As much as I hate to see that happen so early, and see him close that curtain and let everything happen, he can't take it back now. He has to. That's all I gotta say about that. You have to live with that, you bastard. You deleted everything and renamed your channel. You're gonna have to live with that. There's no coming back from that. You pretty much killed your channel, you dumb fuck. And I'm not grilling him. It's just the fact that they obvious. You could have just put out that video and left all your stuff up. At any point, you could have came back and said at any point you could have made a return. Even if you don't, you can be like Jay-Z. You can just retire and never come back, and just leave things as they were. But you decided to erase everything. You can't put it back up now. Because I know you don't got that saved in our cloud. I know you. You don't have that saved. And you probably gonna end up watching this. You don't have that saved. You can't just put that back out, and it will. You can't. If you put that back out, rename your channel, right to your name, and it blows up, I'm gonna fly to that damn desert, and drown you in that fucking sand. It will turn into the desert off of Mortal Kombat 9, that bitch. But, yeah. Let them have their time together, and that was my spiel on what happened with Ohma, an hour or two ago. So, as it's being said, I'm, now that I've had time to deal with everything and cope with the story, I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking exhausted. And the sun's coming up. What time is it? What percent is my phone at? Get the fuck out of here. It's 16%. Ah, shit. My storage is running low. Yeah, I know I probably won't have another 5 minutes. But, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Give them a little bit of alone time. I guess at 100 for... No. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna do a Q&A every 100 or so. Ah, there's the alert. Every 100 or so, I'm going to do a Q&A. Even if it's the same questions, I might try to answer all of them. So if I ever hit 100, I'm going to put out a video for Q&A. As long as it's nothing too personal, I'll answer it. But, yeah. Peace from the Cove. I'm gonna put up a memorial for Ohma in a corner somewhere in this cove. I might bring his favorite drink, some sand, and I'm gonna do him like a proper send off. Yeah, peace. And I'll see you back again in the cove. So have a nice day, evening, boys and girls. Got. I'm not even gonna say the last part I was gonna say, but guys and gals, bros and whatever the hell I call a girl. I don't know. This is new to me. What to call girls because shit's happening. But peace.